most of them are broken and are being slowly replaced with Promethean boards. As well as, all students having one-to-one devices, Chromebooks, iPads.
Software.
I did not talk about software. The software's up. Software, sometimes I always say I age myself. Because technology is part of a classroom now. Every English, math, everything is technology driven. So we have subscriptions to science, research-based interventions for all academic areas, and continually they go up. Software runs our health room. Software runs our schools, such as Power School, and those do keep going up.
Well, first off, what's the additional cost for PE?
They're the same. Yep. So it's a 0.5 PE/health teacher.
And then you know if there was a difference there. The other thing was, is if I see that you have about 3 to 4 different teachers for first grade.
Probably, you're ahead.
Yeah.
So we talk about the growth of our student population, if tuition is down by $500,000.
Tuition is high school, remember. So we're growing at the elementary level. So anticipate tuition at the high school level going up in a few years once that shifts there.
Thank you.
Any questions before I go?
The textbook in both things curriculum, that's the Board of Education actually.
Yeah, because we're in the process of trying again. Yeah, it's going through a committee, oh no, the school, so on the committee to pick the curriculum for K3 includes teachers who are in K3, special education teachers, reading consultants, principal. Once the team chooses a curriculum, then it'll be shared with the Board of Education who would approve it.
How much do you think you have on that?
We can pick one of six. Did you have your hand up? Oh, no, continue. I'm sorry. See, I find this exciting. Yeah. We're good? All right. All right, so we look at.
Sorry, where are we doing?
We're looking at staffing. We have certified and the instructional staff. So under that instructional staff, that's
We're not sure where that's coming from. That's, no, I'm off. No.
you guys mute? No.
There was a person. Let's try this one. No, this is this guy.
And does that work? Leah, can you hear us? She's on mute.
I can now, but I haven't been able to since we got back online.
I think we're working now.
But you can now, thank you.
All right, so we're on page 18 for those of you at home, going over staffing. So this sheet shows certified staffing, that would be teachers, special educators, anyone who requires a Connecticut Department of Education teaching certificate. And then the instructional staff line are paraprofessionals. Note that we have more non-certified staff than what's listed in instructional staff. So for instance, we have the nurse should be in there, FTs, which are custodians. Administrative assistants are not listed in that. We want those in those numbers. I can get them for you. They're not changing. They're the same as they've been. The certified staff, again, we are proposing increasing by 2.0 FTE equivalent. That'd be a lot.
It's just Kara.
Yeah,
I'll let her know.
We're keeping our current paraprofessionals. Please note too, some of the paraprofessionals are now, we refer to them as RBTs. They're called registered behavior technicians. We have taken, through trainings and certifications, we have taken paraprofessionals who used to be academic assistants and moved them to a highly trained behavior interventionist, which has really assisted in our programming and keeping students at home, at school. All right, so I think it's important to show you the reductions that we made from the budget before we presented it to you today. The Board of Ed and the administrative staff, as well as the teachers, provided input into what they need. I think it's important to note that what we're presenting today isn't what we want, it is what we feel we need. So we, as I said before, are not asking for an entire team of middle school teachers, so that was reduced out. Those of you who have been following along with the Board of Education, Scott did a presentation on getting a school resource officer in conjunction with the town and some of those benefits. That is not in our budget. The ELA curriculum, again, for grades 6, 7, 8 has been taken out. Originally, we are finding a need for an IT support in-house all the time. Currently, we have 3 days a week of this. So originally, we had asked for Novus, our company that we use IT from, to give us a quote for 5 days a week. We decided to stay with our 3 days a week so we could reduce by 60,000 there. We took 30,000 out of professional development. Project O is a science program that our 7th graders go to. It involves, transportation and going back and forth to Groton. We took that out. We're going to try to shift some of our music program into a rental program. And lastly, we took about 20,000 out of supplies. And so I think this was what you were referring to, the next slide on page 20 for class sections. Again, I talked about we're always getting inundated with legislature that we have to adhere to. This is what I'm sharing next is proposed legislature. The state is proposing to cap class sizes, so districts will not be allowed to go over a limit. That is not passed yet. I'm just sharing it, and it's in the legislature now. The CEA, the teachers union, are very aware of it. It states that for pre-K to grade 2, the cap would be 20 students per class. For grades 3 through 8, the cap is 23 students per class, and then high school is 25. So next year, we're proposing to have 45 students in our pre-K program. Currently, we're filled. We have a lottery folks registered right now. We have 48 students registered for our preschool lottery, and we have about 20 slots to fill that we're going to fill. We have 3 classes, but 2 teachers. So we have 1 full-day pre-K class and 2 half-day pre-K classes. Pre-K, as you may or may not know, is mandated for students with special needs. If a student has a special need, they have a right to be in a preschool class. We have to match them with non-identified peers so that we always maintain a minimum of a 50-50 ratio of students who have identified needs and students who do not. Kindergarten, you're going to notice some differences in the projected class sections here, as well as the workbook I gave you. On this page, I put in, right, 42 is our projection, which would be 3 classes. We use, who's the gentleman, the projecting company, it's not NESDAQ.
Peter Prada.
Peter Prada has projected that we will have 47.
Peter who?
Peter Prada. No, Peter, it's like a statistician.
I still didn't get it. Peter Proud?
Prada, P-R-O-D-A.
He's been doing this for years, right?
Yeah.
Or you've seen it before.
Yeah, so he's projecting 47. All of our projections last year were incorrect. In August, you'll remember, we had, I think, 15 unexpected kindergartners register, 10, 15, I don't remember the exact number. We had to switch out a first grade teacher into kindergarten to have 4 kindergartens, which we currently have right now. Right now, we have 2 first grades, 2 first grades at 20 and 21, I think, currently, which if this legislation passed, would not be allowed. So we're proposing, at this time, we think we're gonna have 3 kindergarten sections. On first grade, we're proposing 3, but that leaves us with 18, 18, and 19. Again, a lot depends on people moving into town. We got a great influx. I haven't checked the housing market lately to see how many houses you guys have for sale. But that's usually a good indicator on what we're gonna get. Second grade, we're proposing 3 sections of 14. Again, if we went to 2, we'd have 21 kids per class, which in the future will be too many, if it passes. Third grade, we would have 14, 14, and 15. Fourth grade would be 18 in a class, 5th grade, 18, 18, 19. 6th and 7th would both be 19, 19, and 20. And then 8th grade, if we went with 2, we're gonna have 23 and 24, which is a very large class, particularly for science and labs. If we go with 3, it'll be 15, 16, 16. Any questions on that? Did I answer your questions? Looking at our capital budget, we are not increasing it. We still have 68,000 left in our capital budget, which will cover our floor repair, our street replacement, windows, painting, and our ceiling tiles replacement. Almost done. So, oh no. Our budget is a compromise already. I feel like it is 100% transparent. You are welcome to ask me any questions. The only thing we've done is repeated what we had last year. We've added those 2 positions. Those are the only additions, and the curriculum, as well as I should have also put in some of that technology. Salaries, benefits, utilities, insurance, they make up the majority. Bev and I were trying to quickly figure it out. It's over 90% of this budget. Again, the additions, the math, the PE teacher, PE/health, and the speech pathologist, as well as the curriculum. And then next up, those are our next meetings. Please let me know if you have any questions.
I have some questions.
Sure.
Your fuel costs, have you locked in yet any, like as far? No?
That was gonna, yes, we did, but that was, I think we gotta talk about that.
I didn't hear you. But then also, I just wanted to add, I'm not gonna go, this is what you had asked for specifically, this workbook. So if you when you're reviewing that, have any specific questions on that, it's all in here, but it's just presented a different way to you.
Okay, I personally haven't had time to go through it, but thank you for that. Okay, we meet again next week. You had, let's not get into any extended Q&A tonight, but
Okay.
if you have a topic, throw it out, and I'm sure she her general concern and not necessarily put on the spot for a complete answer tonight.
And I will come next week, so if you want me to prepare any answers to anything specific, please just let me know, and I'm happy to do that. Scott and I do have to.
The students at the school, do they take the standardized tests
Do our students experience this? They do.
Can we get a, for the past 2 years?
So
a increase
we had
in-
COVID, so some of it wasn't conducted for some of those years. Last year was the first year back after a couple of years.
Okay,
So I can give you those scores.
the year before COVID and then the year after. Go ahead.
No, I'll just send an email.
Thank you. I guess, like to see us look at budgets. Look back first and see if where we thought we were gonna be last year, what happened current year, and how does that impact what we're projecting for the budget year? Last year, when we were finalizing, I think the overview was, we had suggested a $200,000 reduction in your budget, and I'm paraphrasing, so don't. And we got the feeling, the response we got was maybe there's a little in the budget that we can play with, or we'll maybe be able to deal with some of the things that we think are coming. But we were, as I recall, given a picture of 4 to 5 to 7 new special needs kids who were gonna need outplacement. And therefore, you probably have to come back to the town for additional appropriations during this current year. We don't seem to be in that position, or are we?
So that is the creation of the program that I did that really helped us out a lot, that SOAR program.
Okay.
I'll bring you information about that program next time as well, like a little overview.
Okay, again, right now, what I'm doing is throwing out kinds of questions that I might hit you with, and I don't want to blindside you. But to the explanation tied to maybe a few numbers, but what we were predicting about all these new students, especially the special ed students, how that translates to the special ed tuition in the current budget, and how that translates or impacts the special ed budget in next year. If you just look at the numbers, again, based on what we heard, and we heard it a year ago, the numbers don't really track, but you have explanations that when you give them to us, maybe that would happen.
I have an explanation for everything.
Okay.
So I'm happy to share that.
I would like, the legislation that you said that you, to send out, yes, please.
Anybody else have general concern?
I didn't go to Columbia schools for my math, so that's not my strong point.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
My kids did, and it's not their
Still
strong.
not theirs either. So maybe it's not just me, but I'm counting the teachers, there are like 27 teachers, they're in
In
the
the
class
certified?
sections, yeah, on your page per section. But there are 53 certified people, so that means there's like
So that
20
includes special
teachers.
education teachers, art teachers, music teachers, school psychologists, speech language pathologists, those are all under teachers, even though they're really not teachers, they're certified staff. I guess
So there's about 20 of those, 20 out of 25 of those. Or
There's
proposed to
preschool
be.
teachers, yeah, I can,
Well, but I
can write down all the-
pre-K.
I'll give you a list of all the staff, and not their names, I can tell you what they're doing.
Well, you could also include the analysis technique to that too. I think we had a budgeted amount for salaries last year, and we seem to be paying a different amount current year. And then we have a projected amount for next year, if you could sort of walk through. Well, this is what we were thinking when the year started, this is what we did this year. And we told it's about the 2.0, but then we can translate that to numbers and get a rough idea of the contractual amounts. And then the 600,000 increase would make more sense.
Okay.
Okay, you done, Kelly? Anything else? Again, you know where to find me and I know where to find her, so thank you both. With that, I guess we move to the board of selectmen. Steve, you the guy.
I am. Short straws, I get to present this. So, Board of Selectmen, myself, Christopher Lynch, William O'Brien, Judy Ortiz, and Lisa Napolitano. First, Mark Walter, Town Administrator, Bev Cirillo, financial director, and the person I lean on all the time, Jennifer LeBoy, will keep me straight and have the answers between her and Bev. That's why I'm able to do this with some sort of understanding tonight, so. I thank them all. It's, even for any budget, whether it's the town, whether it's the school, I know for us, it's painstaking. We look at everything. I challenge everything. It's, I'd like to be able to say, we're not changing a thing, we're not paying anymore, but unfortunately, the climate of our financial status in this country is bleak, to say the least. And by no means does that mean that the town's government can run amok and spend money that we don't have, that our citizens don't have, when our population is well above the age of 60 in this town. Probably 50% are over the age of 50, 60 years old, and some are on fixed incomes. So we take a good hard look at this and how we spend their money. But unfortunately, back in December, I said we were gonna have some challenges this year, and we saw them even at the town level. So ask your questions. This, I do not care if you ask them tonight. I'll have the answer, or I'll find the answer, okay? But, so the first thing we're gonna go through is the proposed revenues of what we're looking at. Really, everything's pretty much on par. The taxes, other current property, we are doing very, very well. License, this is intergovernmental stuff, we're down a little bit. Charge for services, really, we're kind of in the ballpark of where we were, probably down $98,000, but you take out the miscellaneous transfer in from recreation, there's some stuff there. The intergovernmental is, what are we looking at that?
The municipal, that's the municipal aid. So our education cost share grant is projected to go down over $75,000 with the state doing a new recalculation formula. Columbia is losing out at least $75,000 next year. And I think each year we're gonna eventually, it's gonna decrease or something. So we have to keep an eye on that.
Isn't that in the education budget though?
It comes to the town, and the town basically funnels it as part of the town appropriation.
Not directly.
That's why you didn't see it on theirs, correct?
Yeah.
So it dropped $75,830.
Yeah, we don't specifically identify that as a transfer. It's just in the general fund. Because of appropriation.
So town fees are projected to remain the same, except for transfer station stickers. We did increase by $10 for those over the age of 62. Last year we spent, oh, excuse me, under 62. Relax.
Yes. She's saving.
Stay young. So really, the transfer station, the fees for our waste through town is gonna go up. We are just trying to offset a little bit. We too have looked at other towns and what they do. If they cover it in their town taxes, it's not an individual with transfer station, but any town that does not cover the waste pickup in their town taxes, we are at the lowest for the transfer station. We pay for it in our taxes, what we don't, but we try to make up for it a little bit in what we sell for the stickers. So for those who are complaining about the cost of it, if we went to just the pickup with, it's not really waste anymore, whoever owns it, because the cost would be a lot more per household than the $50, the $10 more for your sticker. So we decided just to go up a little, to try to offset and keep it from rolling into our taxes.
Actually, Casella, the cost for 3 months, Casella went up by about
40%, 30 to 40%, so. We are still bound on our contract, but I think one more year, so stand by. Interest rates are rebounding, have a little bit of income money there. The government revenue is gone $78,000. Taxes, we are collecting at about a 99% tax rate. We projected 97.5, so we're doing very well. We'll have a little, not extra money, but it'll cushion our revenues. So that will help in our budget. As far as the town itself and personnel, health insurance premiums are only going to rise, we hope, at about a 7.5, maybe a little bit less. We were projecting 12 and 10, we're looking at 7.5, so that's,
I'm sorry, can I back you up?
Yep.
For a quick question.
yep.
Just for clarification, you also, how much is in the budget? Is that 38,000 or?
For LoSiP,
For those 38.
that's a discussion point coming up, that we may shift the LoSiP
Well,
funds to next
that
year.
was my question to next year.
Yes, that was what we're gonna bring up later, bring it.
Okay, well, I don't want to resolve anything. The question is, if we use 38,000 this year, 39,000 this year, how much is left in my hands?
That's next year, so we're this year, we're projected for 117, we could.
That's our entitlement that we can request, so we could hold off and save it for next year. I just two don't match, but I think we can.
Okay, I guess, well, if I have to, I'll talk to Deb, but
Yep.
we have over 117,000.
Yes. There's actually about 116, that's why you see on another page, there's a deficit, so I mean, there's like a small adjustment, but we'll say 116, 117, you can always carry that forward to next year and do one big request for capital project reimbursement.
Okay, but it should make sense if I look at the bottom of the capital projects page where you track the loss of fund.
Yeah.
I should be able to figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm only asking these questions because there's a little pot of money that we might suggest that we tap into.
Well, if we apply for it this year, we
It
would
has to be
use
this
it,
year.
right,
We can save it to next year and apply it to next year budget.
Yeah, that's the type of discussion I like to have. Okay, so,
okay, we have not added any additional staffing. We did, our town planner retired, we have outsourced this position. There is a little increase in that line, but to hire somebody for the amount of time that we need would have been at least that or more. We think this is a better way to go. IT's increased $30,000. That is training for the staff, but it's really a lot of the security. Every day you hear somebody getting hacked, town getting hacked, held for ransom. Unfortunately, it happens, so that's going up $30,000 for us. Fuel costs. So we were able to lock in on Friday, fuel costs. And the fuel costs, what we're paying versus what we're getting. Currently, we're paying $3.62 for heating oil. We locked in at $2.96. So some savings there, okay? Gasoline. We were paying $2.89. We locked in at 3.17. Yes, it's a little bit higher. We're only projected to get about, not much by way of gasoline. It's our smallest use, so we dropped the number of gallons that we're projected to get because we didn't use it. Our usage will be reducing.
are those numbers reflected in here, or did you not have time?
No, did not have time, so that's when we wanted to adjust this for next week.
Diesel fuel, we were paying 3.718. We were gonna pay $3. So a savings of 72 cents there per gallon. So all told, we're looking at probably 6, 7, 8, $9,000 in saving.
Nothing I said, I understand.
Yes.
Yes.
Overall, increases and decreases. Unfortunately, there's more on the increase side. Salaries and any adjustments in salaries for a few positions. About $55,000. We budgeted a 4.25 increase in pay, 4.25. Everybody knows what inflation has been.
What are they across the board, or was it
There's,
more or less depending on?
there's, no, it was
Individualized.
across the board. There was, I think, 2 positions that were looked at and brought up to area standards.
No, that's right.
Group insurance, $54,000. Is that at the 7.5?
Yes.
There's increased enrollment. Other town benefits, payroll taxes, commercial insurance, IT is there. Resident trooper, we saw a reduction in the resident trooper line of 21.4. Yeah, looks like the state took on more of that.
They reduced their fringe benefit rate by 40%, so that resulted in us getting billed less. So that was nice.
Firefighting emergency services going up. They asked for, I think it was probably 15,000. And more of that is maintenance through the yard, the back, the area, mowing and stuff, and plowing of the whole area over there. They had a member who can no longer do it. We have some services over there that need to be pretty much on call. Anytime a storm is coming in, they need to be able to clear that within, a couple minutes notice. So we don't have trouble getting in and out of there. It's not so much that the trucks can't get through any amount of snow, but once they run over at one time, they're packing it down, so they're leaving tire marks, and it's tough to plow out. And the thing is, it also creates slick situations when you're getting down toward the street. So they need to be plowed on a consistent, regular basis. In the town, we felt that we could not, with the number of personnel that we have and the amount of road that we have to plow, we did not feel that we could add to our workload for the Department of Public Works by taking that on. So that's the 10,998.50.
So is it just the contractor that you hired to
Yes.
be on call, basically?
Waste management, it was going up $6,800. Planning and zoning, that was the town planner we brought in. And library services, the library has asked for a 6.2% increase for 27. There's 2 different numbers, but yeah, I'm sorry, 27,239 increase. So, questions?
You said earlier that we had lost, the salaries were going, no changing.
Except for I didn't say salary, I said town positions. We didn't add any town positions, any additional staff. The one thing we did was the retired town planner, we outsourced it.
Yep. Natural cost of.
Yep.
It wouldn't be less expensive to have someone on staff.
No. No, not, we got a very good rate because Paulie would have been with us for a long time and.
Or we want, we need one.
Clearly we need one. Okay. Any other questions there? All right, let's go to new and proposed capital appropriations here. You're gonna see a large increase asked there. Road paving was 246. We're asking for an increase of $238,000. Part of that, 138 is just the road that we are doing this year for repaving, is about $120,000 of that. But we're also asking for $100,000 of a new process. It is a recovered, new chip seal that's being used. What it does, it adds life to roads that are not as heavily traveled as the main roads. And they're getting great response where it's adding 5 to 10 years to the life of the road before they have to repave them again. So we think if we start putting $100,000 into that budget and start covering some of these side roads, cul-de-sacs, in the long run, it does save the town money. So we asked for that. Box culvert replacement.
I'm sorry, how many miles do we get for this 100,000?
It's probably 3 to 1. I think it's a 3 to 1.
I thought it was like a mile.
No, we're gonna pave a mile and we can use the chip. I think it's a 3 to 1 ratio. I'll have to ask and get with Ben and ask.
Okay, I can wait.
Box culvert repair, you'll see here that there's, we're proposing a budget of 325,000, but technically 200,000 of that is the Hot River already budgeted money, appropriated money from from this current year. It's sitting there, correct? Yes,
So we're shifting money from the Bridge on Hop River project, which is gonna be funded fully by the federal and state, and moving it 200 to the box culvert repair replacement. So it's a shift.
okay,
But the cost of that project hasn't gone up.
so Hot River,
The box cover.
Well, there's
if you'll let me explain.
there's two different things
That's what
going
I
on in
asked
that
questions, so
line.
you can explain.
Right now, I was gonna get to that, so. We have numerous box culverts that are in need of attention in town. And we are looking to take the 200,000 and use that for engineering costs to tell us which of our, I think there's probably 11, that we need to pay attention to quicker. I think one was on Hunt Road that washed out. We had to replace it ourselves. And just as a repair.
That was their Donny Road.
Donny. Yeah, but there's another one in the storm. That's all right. Hot Road has to be done. They're gonna fail soon. Couple of years. So what we're asking is the $200,000 that we're taking from the Hot River, we're just moving it over to the culvert and use it as engineering. We'll hire an engineering firm to go out there, take a look at all of them, tell us which ones are the worst and need the attention. And the money of 125, we're asking to put into a box culvert fund to be able to start building that up, because some of these box culverts go up to, if it's just the circular tubes and stuff we have underneath there, you're looking at $500,000 to $600,000. However, if it's the box culverts, you're looking over $1 million. So I'd like to start funding something into that, so we can hopefully offset or tack them as they come up. I understand how you feel about putting money aside. We can look at it, but
But I have
that's what I've
a
asked.
more fundamental question about if we previously appropriated the 200,000, do we have to now adjust, bring it back into the general fund and reallocate it? Because otherwise it's not changing our budget. It's
Not
previously
the
been
budget.
allocated. This isn't going to our bottom line in this year's budget, it's 200,000.
That's a
It's
shift.
just the 125.
Right, but so it's not part of the X% increase, it's just a.
It shouldn't be, no.
It's just- No, it's a,
That's what I
that's
thought.
zero change. The only thing that would add to the bottom line is the 125 additional that you want.
Okay,
Right, so it actually, this should be proposed 325, but
yeah,
It-
okay, so that's,
Well,
It's got a minus on the 200. So
yeah, it has a minus down below with the
Yeah.
200.
That's how
Proposed
I
for
get
that,
it.
proposed for that project.
Correct.
I get it.
10,000 for reval, we always do. DPW equipment. They've requested replacement of a 2000 backhoe. The one that they use, they have two of them. The one up at the transfer station is about to just fall apart. They put more money into it every year. I have been told that it is not road available. Should we need it as a backup if our 2012 that they use on the road and for jobs has some sort of failure, there's the one up at the transfer station could not be safely used as a backup. It's really not worth anything up there. Okay, so they'd like to buy a new one. They'll use the one up there as long as they can, but their projection is to have the 2012 still at the yard to be able to use on second jobs. Or when the time comes, move that up to the transfer station when they need that to be able to move trash around, pack it down, move mulch and debris, stuff like that. So they're looking to purchase a new backhoe for $156. $15,000 we're taking out of the, upgrade the transfer station. I don't know, I asked if they're happy with the safety up there for the most part, and I was told yes. DPW capital improvement buildings, 20,000, that's continuing with the HVAC fund. We have, I believe, 49,000 in that fund, give or take. We have a project coming up for $25,000. So we put money in there the last couple of years. We're going to put 20 back into it. So basically, it's almost a wash on the project we have coming up this year. We're gonna refund that because it seems like HVAC, temperamental stuff throughout the town. We just did a lot at the fire department. The libraries had some issues last year, so that fund is going to be replenished to $20,000. Dam mitigation and repair, we have a repair, the gate needs to be fixed over at the dam. There's your 200,000.
Reducing expenses from 55,000 down to 5. I wouldn't want to cheap out on.
No, I think we already spent,
It's a change in the budget. That's what the 55 is, a reduction for next year. We're not funding again 55, we're only putting in 5. It's a difference of 50.
we already spent
Because
50.
we already did the repair.
Well, it's still in process.
Oh, but it will be done.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I think we need 5,000 more piece of the gate. There's your $200,000 from the bridge at Hop River Road. And hazardous tree removal, once again, we're still in it. This is hopefully the last year we're gonna ask for $100,000. We've made a lot of improvements in our roads ongoing. I see neighbors' houses, I didn't even know they lived there. Unfortunately, taking a lot now, but that's the way it is. So we're asking for another $100,000 there. And this year, we are proposing $321,000 for our long-range replacement for the Columbia Volunteer Fire Department. So that's pretty much on par with what we were spending. Last year, we spent $967,000, but we also went to the general fund for $133,000 for a loader. This year, I guess we're asking for 1.2, basically what we spent last year. So, transfer station, going through, good. Any questions? And so on the back of the changes, Board of Selectmen, 6.25. Board of Education spoke for themselves. Contingency stay the same. Dog fund projected to be nearly the same. Internal service, funding it the same. That's if somebody leaves, if they're paid out their vacation, sick time. There is a increase for Zegda Farm. We're trying to recapture some of the hay field. It needs some specialized fertilizer, and we actually split that with the gentleman we're in contract with, the hay down there. If he can't bring it back to some sort of viability, then we're gonna have to find a different way to, we'll probably just brush mow it a couple times a year. Because it's a last ditch effort to make it plausible to hay. And recreation stays the same, $10,000, so. Questions about for the town portion of it?
On the next page,
I'm not going to that.
there's a nice graph you can look at. Let me keep going with the slides.
Well, I mean, you can go to the mill rate slides, if currently, if you adopt the amount that we're asking for, both us and the school, there's gonna be a mill rate of 3 mills. And then there's an analysis there of what the mill rate and what it will cost you every house. Certain levels. Homes assessed at 210,000, market value 300,000. Difference of about $600, $50 a month. Right? Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
But the value of the house is going up,
The values, they
so we
did
can't
go
say
up.
it's the same value.
Well, that's why we dropped, we dropped the mill rate 11.79% last year to equal, to make it so that the stock house would have the same amount of tax,
Right.
and then try to keep the spending in line. Now you give him the proposed 11.558 increase would give it all back to the town, and we'd be, that's a scary thought. I mean, I know we need it, we're in unprecedented times. I went back and checked how many times we've had double-digit mill rate increases since 1994.
Yeah.
This would be the third. Once in 99, once in 2011, with 15% increases. So,
Okay. Any bright ideas? We'll have to keep in mind. Obviously, this would be painful in the current environment. But this is what will happen without any use of the general fund money. Well said.
Correct.
Spending.
In the general fund, we have been very fortunate. We continue to hold a healthy general fund, but there's projections of having to use some of it in the school project. And that casts a big shadow over what you, and not me, you can really look at and project and safely utilize. So it is truly
Yeah, looking at the last page of the budget document. The surprisingly high starting general fund balance. 4.6 million. We've been thinking about 1.8 million.
just still healthy.
Yeah, the value of 1 mil was 580,000. Even with a lot of that, and the thing that I think I haven't been able to figure out is, I'm always surprised at the value of the size of the mill of the general fund. I can't figure out how it keeps getting bigger than what we think.
I asked,
Raising taxes.
We haven't raised taxes. but-
Well, you have to remember too, that in the last year or two, we had the American Relief Funds, we've been using that instead of putting it through the budget. So that's not even taken into account. That's not even included in the budget at all.
I understand, but still, when we do the calculations, we thought we'd be in the low 3 million, 3.2 or something, I can't remember now.
and I asked Bev about it. Bev and I sat down yesterday and I said, please tell me how the general fund continues to grow after we take some every year to offset. And it's really, we
We
Raise our-
underestimate our revenue significantly, I think, as
Yeah,
part
we're
of
gonna
it.
have to
Yep.
look closer.
The 2%, we always underestimate
Well,
taxes and,
97.5 collection.
Yeah.
rate.
97.5 and
Right.
the
Yeah, we have
collection
very high
rate.
collection.
is 99, so that's appreciable difference.
Well, you also have a lot of construction in town and house sales that were not anticipated. 'Cause basically, we almost doubled some of those fees that we usually don't get. The interest rates all of a sudden started rebounding, and the last year gave us interest we didn't expect. So,
Yeah.
and then we had, again, collected 99%. Carol's doing a great job getting that money.
Right, and we consistently do collect more, but that's why the fund is growing, because even though we take money out of it, we're really underestimating our revenue, so
That's part of
that's
it.
a part of it.
Steve, I have a question. On the 1.219, capital appropriations.
Yeah.
The two largest are the 484 road resurfacing and box culvert. You're saying that that is going to be a continuing project year for year, so that we should not treat that money as a special deal. I mean, it's just, you're expecting that we will continue to be paying next year the same, and next year about the same?
Well,
To create savings.
yes. I don't think we'll propose. That's, yes, 125.
Well, because what my silly head is thinking is, well, it'd be nice if we could cut that mill rate increase in half and fund it over 2 years. But if you're gonna have it again next year, you can't do it.
Well, one of the things in our package is the 5-year proposal, which will give you the details of each of the next 5 years.
Well, we could
So
follow
today-
up with that to see if this can get reduced a little bit instead of how many miles is gonna get covered by this special right of field. If she's only gonna do half a mile, why should we pay for a mile?
Well, yeah, and I hate to, present this solution last year that kept, the mill rate changed, but the amount of tax you paid was the same. And now it's flipped around. No, it's not gonna be. So, but I get it. I mean, who'd ever think you'd be spending $6 to buy a dozen eggs?
Okay, again, figuring out where we really are gets back to us. I think paying a little more attention than we might have in past years. That's what's happening current year. And can we do a better job of this, so maybe what the new variance is gonna be, because it has an impact on changes, our projection of fund balance. And if the fund balance is gonna be a lot bigger than 44.6 million. I think it's now into the rich. They steal some of that money. But if we could, the people that have the numbers, really bear down and look at what we're doing current year, how we're doing. And if you can reasonably, without staying up all night for a week, come up with firm, relatively firm estimates of where we think we'll be at the end of this year. And I think that would help be valuable input to FiPAC as we check the numbers around. Anything else? Questions? Again, you know where to find me, I know where to find Barbara and Steve. And the earlier we can get questions to them, the better answer we're likely to get next week. Of course, I guess in every meeting I have no idea what my agenda is. But,
Right here, right?
all right, thank you. Anything, grand list, we're up at 127 if I recall.
Yes.
Yes.
1.77.
Okay, we don't need to talk about it a lot, but that's good news. MDR,
That's a real copy of this, we always want to know how we're doing. This year we are in compliance. You want to read the number?
I don't need.
You can just review it.
It's in the package.
Okay, yeah.
I did have a question for Barbara, and this was. Well, this question, who's freaking mandates? Who was driving that? Is that the new commissioner, or is that long-term, who is standing thing that works, or? I know it's not the state legislature, because they don't.
But they're, even tonight, in the news, there's just, it's just so busy right now, and the Connecticut, it's mostly Connecticut. They're talking now about changing, the age of kindergarten, like that was the new one, today, to make you, right now you should be 5 years old on or before December 31st. They're talking about moving that up. It's just really, really busy.
A lot busier than they,
Than usual, yeah, I'm in the news all the time.
okay, I didn't expect.
Yeah,
Mark
I'll
Twain,
get-
the woman is safe for the legislature session.
Okay, are we done?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, let's dig through the numbers, come up with additional questions, and come up with some ideas. Next, we have, everybody voting yes.
So
raise
we're
your hand.
starting weekly next week, right?
Correct.
Yay.
Until we're done.
Starting in next week.
Meeting schedule is on the end of the agenda.
I'll bring the coffee, who's bringing the donuts?
I'll bring the donuts.
All right. Yep.
Give me my agenda.
Stay here, till we lock the doors and nobody has to watch you stuff.
They would get extra pennies.
Okay.